Sea Dog Studios presents Visionary from the Stars, written by V.L. Jennings, performed by Kevin Perkins. Jean decided to head down to the window beside the airlock. She crossed the room and stepped into an empty rectangular cavity in the wall. A panel slid down in front of her, sealing away the observation deck. Slowly, the small closet-like room lost its gravity, and Jean began to float. Just as her white, soft-soled shoes left the floor itself slid away to reveal a silver ladder. Jean tucked her legs under her body, flipped upside down, and proceeded to pull herself down the ladder. Once she reached the floor below, she snapped her shoes into the magnetic boot bottoms. She walked past the doors and ladders along the wall to her right, all which led to other areas of her ship, and made her way over to the airlock. Suddenly, the weightlessness disappeared as the ship's living quarters unexpectedly took on gravity. "Hey, what?" Jean exclaimed, as her knees gave out from underneath her and her body crumpled to the floor from the sudden gravitational increase. She carefully stood up and tested the gravity. She walked to the controls beside the airlock door. Jean paused before the airlock, noticing that it was already pressurized. Excited, but still nervous, Jean watched as her airlock opened before she even gave the command. 3 tall and wiry forms, sporting long, thick green tails, stepped through the ship's airlock as the door swung inward.
"We are the Platonians,"
the first one said. Jean frowned at the language that sounded foreign to her ears. A second Platonian tossed something small to her which crawled up her arm and latched onto her ear. Jean screamed in terror, not knowing what this mechanical thing was about to do to her. She raised her hands to claw it from her ear, just as the first Platonian repeated himself. The object over her ear translated the message in Earth Standard. Wide-eyed, Jean simply nodded, while she gathered the courage to reply. "You said that the explosion that killed my parents was a missile?" Jean asked, stunned and stammering out the words. "I'm talking to aliens. Aliens are real. Aliens are on my ship and I'm talking to them," Jean mentally screamed.
"Yes,"
a second Platonian replied, nodding his knobby head and flicking a long, thick green tail. "Where did the missile come from, then?" Jean asked. "I can't believe I'm speaking to aliens."
"We have come to warn you,"
the third Platonian replied.
"The species that destroyed your progenitors creates events that will draw humans into traps that could kill them. They lure the humans into searching for a cylindrical alien relic that happens to be hidden in various dangerous places. For example, on an inhospitable and dangerous planet, or a star system about to go nova. Many of your species have been harmed, and we want to prevent further loss."
The second Platonian spread his arms out wide to illustrate as he spoke.
"You see, the aliens had placed one of those relics on Eudoran, and when your parents got too close, well, the aliens blew them up, if you don't mind my borrowing a nondescript phrase from your language,"
the first Platonian replied as he placed a firm hand on Jean's shoulder. Even though the Platonian's touch repulsed her, Jean's pain as she relived the pictures of the news of her parents' death was strong enough that she was willing to ignore her apprehension. "Can I help stop them from doing this again?" Jean asked.
"We need someone who knows your kind, someone who might be able to help us deter your people from trying to find these relic baits."
"I'll do everything I can," Jean replied, lifting her face to look into the eyes of the Platonian nearest to her. She looked away quickly. Jean was unsure why, but every time she looked at these beings, she began to feel a chill up her spine.
"Good. Come aboard our ship, and we'll show you our first urgent problem,"
the second shortest Platonian urged as they led her into their vessel. This has been a Sea Dog Studios production of Visionary from the Stars. Written by V.L. Jennings. Performed by Kevin Perkins. Text copyright 2018 by V.L. Jennings. Production copyright by V.L. Jennings. All rights reserved.